Hello and good morning. Welcome to Ice Cream Uploads here on Tuesday, the 10th of March, which apparently is Super Mario Day.
Woohoo!
I've literally just found that out by going on Twitter. There's a hashtag going around. So happy Mario Day to everyone out there who likes Nintendo stuff and likes Mario, I suppose. Otherwise, it's irrelevant.
Is it Mario Day presumably because the first Mario came out or something today? Or
I don't know. I see MAR10.
Right. Okay. He's definitely more than 10 though. So I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the logic behind it, but when you see an hashtag and it's about video games, then you have to, I suppose, include it in. I mean, this is like breaking stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, breaking news. We're giving it. Yeah, it's Mario Day. You probably didn't know that unless you was on Twitter. It's 10 o'clock in the morning here in the UK because that's what we go live at each and every weekday to give you the video game news that we found that we think you want to know about. We give our thoughts and opinions on top of your thoughts and opinions. If you are in the chat, do please feel free to get involved and let us know your thoughts on today's news stories. I can already see that we have started to get people into the chat, so thank you very much for joining us this morning. King Comic, thank you very much for the host. Big Zombie Monkey's in here. He's got a nice little subscriber's badge next to his name and he's using the subscriber emotes.
Very nice.
He's saying, hello, let's go. And then, do you want us to read out what that is?
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, I know it.
Do you know what that's in reference to?
It's probably a song, but I don't.
Yeah, it's Joe sitting there and goes, do you know what I mean? So King Comics here as well. Good morning, folks. Happy Mario Day to you. Yay, a full ginger stream, says Big Zombie Monkey. That's exactly right. Graham's not here. I don't know where he is. He's gone into hibernation somewhere. Probably self-isolation for 2 weeks.
Probably, yeah.
Praise Jesus.
Salford is a zombie town, I would imagine, at the best of times. But, yeah.
With regards to Spice, Lambrini, 2020, or any of those White Lightning pieces of shit that are knocking about.
Exactly.
Shout out to John Bibby for getting drunk on cider and loving the bit of the White Lightning.
Nice.
I know he listens to this on demand, so good morning to you too, sir. It's quite a big news day today. The articles that I found are pretty tasty.
Cool. Exciting.
The one that we're going to roll with first of all is probably the biggest news story of the day, and it's one that I've very much doubt anyone on social media has been able to avoid. But before we get into that, Luke, what have you been up to? And you don't have to go into it. You don't have to do anything. Have you been playing any games or anything like that? I don't want to feel like I'm
Sure. Well, let's think. So I've not been playing too many video games recently. I've been playing Final Fantasy 14.
You're playing that on PC, weren't you?
Yes. So I've been playing that up until recently. I was out in Amsterdam on holidays at the weekend, so didn't get to play any video games. But yeah, that and Neo Autonomous, still whatever it's called. I've not really. Yeah, I've just been playing. I've watched a lot of Twitch actually recently, rather than playing video games. So.
Who have you been watching?
I've been watching Squid Gaming. Yesterday was her birthday, so I watched her birthday stream. Yeah. And I've also been watching just a lot of the Yogcast people actually.
Yeah.
Yogcast. I've been sort of collecting them in my following list because I'm interested. Because a lot of them are British as well, so it's nice to sort of support.
Yeah.
Local.
Well, the benefit of supporting British broadcasters, shall we say, or content creators, is the fact that we're on the same time as them.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
the thing is with Americans, by the time it gets to like 7 o'clock PM, it's usually early morning for them.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say a lot of the good ones are probably working because they probably stream at their own time. But
exactly.
7 o'clock our time is 7 o'clock our time for the British ones as well. So it just makes it's so much easier to follow British. Or any kind of European content creator because it's like 1 or 2 hours difference, so it's not that bad. But yeah, it's great to follow those type of people, really. Big Zombie Monkey says, I finally finished Breath of the Wild the other day. All 120 swines? All 120 fucking hell shrines. All 900 Croaker seeds.
That is good. Basically, that's dedication because these 900 Croaker seeds. They're just like little I don't know. You've not played it, have you?
Yeah, I've got it.
Oh, have you? You know then, don't you?
Yeah, I haven't completed it, but for the benefit of those who haven't played it.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, they're little like creatures, like they've appeared in a couple of the Zelda games as well, like little leaf creatures, and they're quite only small. And Breath of the Wild is a massive game, so you have to kind of like find them, and inevitably they're sort of like top of a cliff or something you have to climb, or some difficult to get thing, or they appear when you've completed a puzzle or whatever. And 900 of them, they each give you one seed each if you complete a little puzzle and you find them. So yeah, you have to find 900 of them, and then the shrines, which are sort of finding them can be tough in itself, and then you have to like solve the puzzle because each shrine has a puzzle. So that's a lot of work. Yeah. So well done.
Yeah, he's been and I think he got. Did you get it for Christmas? Did you get the Switch for Christmas? I'm fairly certain it was around that time that I saw you post that you got it, or it was just before you took up your job that you've got now. So yeah, Breath of the Wild is obviously the staple game of the Switch. I think the next one you should probably play is Mario Odyssey, would you say?
Yeah, I think that's a good one to do. Mario Odyssey. I don't know, there's loads that I still want to try myself, so that I haven't, like the Final Fantasy, not the Final Fantasy one about, the oh Christ, the sword sort of based game, the one that there's loads of Super Smash Brothers characters of.
Oh, Fire Emblem.
That's the one. Fire Emblem. There's a new Fire Emblem game. I've never played Fire Emblem before, but I really want to try it.
Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it?
And then there's like that police sort of one as well that looked quite good. That was out a while ago. He plays like anime police kids, basically. But
yes,
I keep forgetting about that. Yeah, Astro Chain. You see really bad names, as you can probably tell. But yeah, I want to give that a go as well. Obviously, Animal Crossing's coming out soon as well.
Well, we have, in fact, Spike, I don't think you was here last time, but we have actually got like a little competition, shall we say? Morning DMAC as well. I'll bring it up on the screen actually so you're able to see it, because of we have a lot of regulars here, so we like to get into conversations with obviously our regulars. We want to keep the conversation going, and people have a lot of opinions when it comes to how good of a game is going to do. So we put together a little list of what we think games are going to be ranked via Metacritic as they release. And the first one that we've got on the list is Animal Crossing. Let me just get the sheets up. It's something that I posted on Twitter as well, so if you haven't seen it, you'll be able to see it here. If you want to get involved and you are in the chat, then do feel free to let us know what your scores will be, and we'll get them added to the list. So I'll bring it up very quickly on the screen here. So we've got Animal Crossing, Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Resident Evil 3 Remake, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and Predator Hunting Grounds. They're the sets of games. 7 games, is it? No, 6 games that we've got, or big games, shall we say, or games that we're looking forward to in the next 2 months. If you want to get involved, then do feel free to either find it on Twitter and reply back to it there when you're in your own time, or take note of it now, take a quick screen grab, and at the end of the show, I'll put all of the scores in there for you, rather than taking up another 20, because it was about half an hour that we went through all this, because it was after people that go, okay, ads, what would you say Half-Life Alyx is going to get?
Exactly.
So if you want to take a quick screen grab of this now, we'll come back to it at the end of the show if you want to add your scores in there. If you aren't going to be here for the remainder of the show, then do feel free to find this post on Twitter, reply back to the post with your scores, and we'll be sure to add them for you.
Yeah.
Right, let's go back to the front cam and get into the food first. Jeez, today's going to be one of them days. I can feel it. I can feel it already. Yeah. First news story of the day, which is the big news story of the day for those of you that are into Battle Royale games. Spike, I know your red's probably going to fall off. However, I'm fairly certain this might be a little bit up your street, as you like to play co-op with most people. So getting into it is Call of Duty's free-to-play Battle Royale mode Warzone, officially detailed. It's out today. Scratch out the tomorrow, because this was written late yesterday. Following the premature unveiling via a YouTube mishap earlier today, Activision has now formally detailed its free-to-play Call of Duty Battle Royale experience known as Warzone, which launches today on PS4, Xbox One and PC. Warzone will feature 2 distinct play modes at launch, Battle Royale and Plunder. Battle Royale follows the usual last man standing formula, with 150 players in teams of 3 attempting to take out the opposition in a steadily shrinking play area. This time, courtesy of a cloud of deadly gas. Plunder, also playable in 3-person squads, is a race to collect the most in-match cash by looting the map, robbing down enemies, and completing in-match contracts. That sounds cool. That sounds really cool. A squad can have one contract active at any time, with scavenger contracts challenging players to find and open a series of supply boxes, and recon contracts requiring players to secure a specific location. Alongside cash, which can be used to purchase beneficial items from buy stations in Battle Royale mode, competing contracts will provide loot and special rewards, such as the ability to see the next circle collapse location ahead of time. Both Warzone modes utilise the same expansive Verdansk map, which, as outlined in Activision's blog post reveal, features multiple name location zones, as well as 300 points of interest. Those looking to get around the Verdansk, I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know,
yeah.
Verdansk style can make use of the range of vehicles, including 2-seater ATVs, 4-seater tactical rovers and SUVs, cargo trucks, and helicopters. According to Activision, Warzone will share Call of Duty Modern Warfare's crossplay and unified progression system, meaning Modern Warfare players will be able to carry all Battle Pass items, operators, weapons, and customization items over to Warzone, while all progress and items earned in Warzone can be carried over to Modern Warfare's multiplayer and special ops, should players decide to purchase the full game at a later date. The standalone free-to-play version of Call of Duty Warzone will be available on PS4, Xbox One, and PC from today, 10th of March, at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. GMT. Modern Warfare players can get stuck into it a little bit earlier, as it unlocks at 3 p.m. GMT should you own the full game.
Sweet. Wow, nice. So, are you going to play it?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm very much in the camp of I'll give any game a go once. Yeah. Spike, wake up. I've started playing Fortnite again. I know he's dozed off because I know it's Battle Royale and he's not a big fan. I thought the Call of Duty angle may sway you, but Spike, you need to wake up. I know mentioning Fortnite, but we'll get into the news article, the next one after this. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Battle Royales at the moment. Like, I'm starting to get into them. Like, I was a seasoned Radical Heights player for the 3 months that it was out. The best Battle Royale game that ever came about.
Nice.
Until its unfortunate demise. Then I stayed away from Fortnite for quite a long time. It was only the Star Wars stuff that brought me back.
Yeah.
However, it hooked me back.
Yeah.
I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm still playing it now on dinner times and stuff like that. I'm not playing. It's really weird. My opinion of them has changed because the way that they are played has changed. No longer now is it just a race to finish first. It's a race to clear your challenges as you go along.
Yeah.
And that, for me, is the most important bit, because I'm a terrible Battle Royale player. I'm far too aggressive. I piss Graham off more than anybody when I play that game as a duo, because he will be so tactical, building ramps, putting shields up, being a bit more tactical in his approach to taking on fights, and I just see someone in the distance, and I'm running after them. I'm shooting them from distances I know I'm never even going to be able to hit them.
Yeah.
So I'm the worst duo partner that you could ever do, but I'm not playing for the win at the moment. There's nothing to win for. Unless one of your challenges is to win a game, then I'll take my time. But to get 5 pistol kills, I'll drop into a hot spot, hope to pick up a pistol and try and take out as many as I can, get the challenge over and done with. This looks like it's going to go the same way. We're getting a battle pass in there as well. So not only will it concentrate on team play, because you're going to be dropping in squads of 3 like Apex, it's also, you've got something to play for as well.
Yeah, exactly, those extra elements. Which, like you say, is definitely what more of them have been doing. Fortnite have been doing a lot more, haven't they? I also found it interesting how there's 150 players in this one rather than 100. Which, I don't know whether that's just like a flex, almost just like bigger numbers just to make us sound even better than viewers. But maybe it'll... it'd be good. Maybe they've also done it because maybe the map's bigger or something, so they need to obviously fill it out more, or else it would just be like running for hours and not seeing anyone.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think the perfect word that you used there is flex.
Yeah.
Because of the name and the caliber of Call of Duty wanting to do something that hasn't been done for... I'm not sure of any other Battle Royale game at the moment. Feel free, if you are in the chat, to let us know if we are wrong in this. But 150 players dropping in, fair enough, they are in teams of 3, is, I think, the most that's been dropped in. I wanted to say that Battlefield potentially tried to add more, but the Battlefield version of their Battle Royale kind of fallen on its face in Firestorm. I seen Westy tweet this morning saying that the Battle Royale for Call of Duty now is everything that Battlefield should have been, but unfortunately it didn't take off and kind of rest in peace because no one's playing it now. You can't really get a game in it. But the way that Call of Duty are dealing with this now, they want to stand out. We've mentioned it before. I mean, if you want to go back to listen to any of our other podcasts where we've talked about this, there's one specific one, I think, early last week regarding this, saying that they should have made this game free to play, this particular mode, to try and compete with all the other Battle Royales that are free. Add a season pass in there, get your money back with microtransactions, should they only be cosmetic, skins-wise, not anything that you want to give you an advantage. So it's a massive statement from Call of Duty. I hope to God that this version of the game remains free to play when the new game comes out later on this. There's going to be a new Call of Duty this year. Regardless, so I hope this one stays as a default side Call of Duty game. So you are always going to have this one to be able to come back to next year when eventually another one comes out. So we'll have this one and then 2 other Call of Duties, but this one will always be the Battle Royale Call of Duty. Very much like what Fortnite is now. You got to save the world and then Battle Royale. So hopefully they'll just be able to top it up with new season passes, new locations, very much like Fortnite's done to try and keep it fresh.
I'd expect the same. And I was interested as well to see. So I've got a tickly throat, by the way. So I was interested to see the extra upgrade sort of ideas and stuff like that as well. Like being able to see the circle claps that will sooner than expect and stuff. Isn't that from? I take it that's like. I'm just trying to work out if that's like rewards that you get per game. So like almost like it resets again after that sort of thing. Yay!
Brew up.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Perfect time just when I was saying it. My tickly throat. I don't know. Do you reckon that's just like per game and then it resets, or is there actually something you can buy or something to? Because that would be a bit more sucky. Because obviously that's then like an advantage.
Yeah. Do you mean the contracts that are available in game? I reckon when you drop in, it'll give you. You'll have to find the contracts scattered about, and then it'll say go and kill team Alpha. And then you have to go and hunt them down, take their stuff. But that other game mode that they've got with it, the plunder one, sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
Again, it's another flex. It's a brand new. It's a twist on the battle royale genre. Trying to keep it fresh. I don't know whether or not that is going to be cross-play. I don't remember. Let me just have a look. Let me just control an F in this. Cross. Call of Duty Modern Warfare's cross-play and unified progression system. Now, cross-play players in PC, Xbox, and PS4, or crossplay as in multiplayer and battle royale. I'm not too sure. I mean, we'll probably find out later on this evening when it drops, or later on this afternoon, shall we say. It'll be interesting. I hope to God that it is going to be crossplay across everything, because that seems to be the norm now. Again, a massive statement. Fortnite is crossplay on everything now.
I mean, Fortnite was probably like the game that pioneered that, really, when you think about it, wasn't it? Because like PlayStation got so much like stick for resisting it for ages.
Well, that and I think Rocket League played a big part. Them two was definitely the people who were saying PlayStation needs to play ball.
100%.
Going back through the chat, then I see Adam's dropping jokes again. This dude was obsessed with us. With bar snacks, I mean, really obsessed. It was nice at first, but eventually I had to say, "Step away, buddy," and his feet went sideways. Asim says, "I'm not a BR fan, but this looks and sounds very good. Some nice things to differentiate to others." Sorry, I mean I can't see the left hand side of the screen because it's kind of poked behind the middle one. So any first letter in the sentence I can't actually see anymore. And Ice Cream Little says strategy. I'm guessing that's in part to me saying that I'm very much aggressive and he's contained. Next Gen Renegade shouts up rumours it might be raised to 200 players. That'd be amazing. And then no coasters, Madge says.
I don't know whether that's to do with the tea or not, but
I mean it's outrageous. I have coasters. You have one with between 2 cups.
Yeah, I know. So it's not
ideal, is it? We haven't got. I don't know where the other ones are. We had about 50 in here, and they just seem to go missing all the time.
Exactly.
And fairly Madge waved hi as well. So good morning to you, sir. So those of you that are in the chat, then this is it's a free to play game. So there's absolutely no loss in being able to go and pick it up. It's a Call of Duty game, so chances are that the shooting mechanics are going to be quite decent in it. it seems that they've added a few more things to the game as well to try and make it stand out from the rest, shall we say. Is this a game that you are willing to give a couple of hours to? Is this a game that you're willing to give a couple of hours to?
Yeah, I think so. If I get the time and that, I don't know how big the download is going to be as well, but
it's going to be a chunky boy, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, Call of Duty never does small patches.
I am unlike most of the gaming population, not big on Call of Duty, but obviously, it's a shooting game. I'm sure that I don't need to know much more than that. I'm sure I can play this fine.
Well, you say that, but you've been playing a lot of Battlefront recently.
Well, yeah, exactly, and that is a shooting game. It's a shooty game. So, sorry, but yeah, I think I'll be definitely picking it up. Yeah,
good. Chances are we're probably going to do a stream on this on Ice Cream at some point in the near future. We will be going live with some Fortnite content and potentially some PES stuff this week, including the weekend. So feel free to follow us on all of our social medias. Hopefully, chatbot's logged in. Let's see if it is. And yes, it is. Follow us on all of our social medias. You'll be able to keep up to date with what it is that we're doing in regards to playing games and doing shows like this, pretty much. We also have great banter, so that's definitely worth it. Precision says 18 to 23 gigabyte is going to be the download, which isn't as big as I thought it would be.
Not too bad, actually.
I thought it was going to be 50 plus, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I guess it's just because it's not going to be at this stage anything else other than the Battle Royale, is it?
Yeah.
So I guess it's that.
Madge says, I may download this, but honestly, with no one to play with and being so bad, it's painful. I won't last long. Madge, I'm going to put my arm around you and we'll go into the wilderness together because I am shit at these games. Graham's better than me at these games because he's a seasoned PUBG player. I've seen Precision play Call of Duty and he's fucking shit as well. So all four of us will join together. We'll get a squad. We'll take it in turns. We'll all lose together after the first drop. How does that sound, mate?
Yeah.
So that's your first news story today. 3 o'clock, if you own this game, you'll be able to go in and download this. For all of you guys that didn't own the game, like your boy and your boy, this will be available from 7 p.m. GMT time on Tuesday, the 10th of March. Just throwing the date out there for all these that are listening to this on podcast services that don't even look at the date. Yeah. Very much like what I do.
Yeah, exactly. No, exciting. I will be doing it. I'll be downloading it.
King Comic says we can play Madge. Always welcome. There you go. This is it. This is the community that we want to build. Arms around each other. You all want to play games. What's better than that? Precision says, how do you think I got this dumb Twitch name? There we go. Graham says, I heard 82 gigabyte for those that don't have Modern Warfare installed already. Christ almighty.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. NH joins and says yeet as he yeets a Twitch subscriber tier 1 and then subscribe for 5 months in a row. Thank you very much. Again, for those of you that are following and subscribing, we don't have notifications on during the scoop purely because if we did and you are driving, chances are you're going to swerve into someone because they are extremely loud, very off-putting. So I apologise if you don't hear any notifications that come up on the stream. It leads strictly for this show. We can't really do it. But if you do subscribe during any of the other content like gameplay and that, you are going to see that. So very much appreciated. You aren't left behind. Madge with the 5 stars. I'm very glad that isn't 6. Ice Cream with the sub-hype. Let's go. Madge also says, chain those defeats. Sounds like a pan. Let's go. Sub-hype's all in there. And the audio just came through. Oh, the audio has come through. Okay. May have to change that then because nothing came up on our screen to show that it happened, only in the chat. So I apologise for those of you that are listening to it. And
we'll do a bit of tweaking.
Yeah. Potentially just swerved your car into the hard shoulder. I apologise. We have got another 3 as far as we're aware. 1, 2,
maybe another 4 actually.
4 news articles. Do you want to take your pick from the remaining 4, mate?
Sure. Well, I've got them up in order here, so I'll do
this is a juicy one. I'm very much excited for this.
Yeah, this is on Metro by Michael Beckwith. So, Elder Scrolls 6 will release in 2025, according to new Reddit rumour. So, a supposed developer for the Elder Scrolls 6 has shared a bunch of info, suggesting the setting is High Rock and Hammerfell. So far, when it comes to Elder Scrolls, the focus at the moment seems to be primarily on the Elder Scrolls Online, with the region of Skyrim slated to be its next edition. We do know that Elder Scrolls 6 is happening, but there's been very little info about it. With fans hungry for even a glimpse of the title, one alleged developer has decided to share some details. Talking to Reddit, the supposed developer posted some relatively basic information stating that they didn't want to spoil too much. The big one is that the game is not due for release until 2025. This essentially confirms that it will be a PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X exclusive title, but that was something fans already expected. Something that's slightly more interesting is an apparent confirmation of the setting. The game will allegedly take place in High Rock and Hammerfell, two regions from the series, tallying with a popular fan theory. The anonymous developer added that the location shown in the announcement trailer from 2018 is actually Yokuda, which used to be the home of the warrior race, the Red Guards. We're really excited about this because High Rock hasn't been really explored.
Do you want me to finish it?
It's alright. I do have like a proper tickly cough, it's so annoying.
Over here a little bit.
Yeah, coronavirus confirmed. We'll be in isolation here in a minute. But also, that isn't like grammar, is it? Which is through me. High Rock hasn't been really explored. Since Daggerfall and Daggerfall and Hammerfell has a ton of interesting lore that's really shaping quests and plot lines, writes the developer. So many players seem to think that High Rock is just generic medieval fantasy, but the truth, though, is that Arena and Daggerfall, yes, I got that right this time, were both more closely inspired by D&D, and as a result, leaned into the generic fantasy a bit more. Our approach to High Rock is going to be more closely leaning into Mark Jones's various concept work from Battlespire. Still a bit close to the typical medieval fantasy, but it's got a really unique style that a lot of us are passionate about. High Rock is shaping up to be really interesting, and it really scratches the itch for a mystic world. A lot of the quests revolve around political intrigue and making advancement in magic. There are a ton of other details, like how Bethesda are aiming to create a game with no loading screens, with the exception of entering dungeons, the player's home, and fast travel. And I'm going to cough again. The leak even gives away some, though not as much, info about Starfield, mentioning that there will be a new teaser for it right before E3. As exciting as this may all seem, it's important to note that this isn't official information. The leak offers no proof of who they there are or what they're saying, and could very easily be a fan looking for attention. That said, they do offer a lot of detail, and the more important takeaway, that the game won't be out for several years, is very believable, and essentially exactly what Bethesda warned the last time they talked about it.
Okay, so 2 questions I want to ask you. 1, are you an Elder Scrolls fan?
No, but I do feel like it's a game that I should be a fan of.
Okay. Second question, do you think that this person is a developer?
I don't know. I kind of feel like it's a weird one, because if you were like someone pretending to be a developer, you kind of go all out, you would have thought, wouldn't you, in terms of like the bullshit, like try and get people, but then maybe they're aware of that and thinking, oh, the way to be believable here is to not share like any unbelievable or out there information.
Yeah. You see, my thoughts are, I do not think that that's a developer.
Right.
I reckon this person has gone onto Reddit, scraped everybody's fan theories together, and pieced this all together himself.
I think it's possible. I don't know why like a developer would do that otherwise.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Bethesda the chat is popping now with people who are well equipped to talk about how Elder Scrolls is going to be played. There's people like Spike and Madge and Enix in there. I've seen Shogun pop in. Don't know how familiar he is with the Elder Scrolls franchise, but the game itself, I do not feel like the battery's going on this. This is so annoying. I do not feel like, with the way that Bethesda are, they will want to show their hand, especially on Reddit from an unknown developer, going to be showing off, potentially leaking some of the biggest information that they have on the sequel to probably one of the biggest games that's ever come out in Skyrim. Not mentioning the Elder Scrolls Online, even though it was my game of the year last year because of how much I played it, thoroughly enjoyed it. It's not in the sequence of Elder Scrolls games.
Sure.
It didn't have a number, it's just Elder Scrolls Online. It's set in all of the worlds, so you can go to each one of them, providing that they've ever been available in the DLCs. You can visit these at locations, but as a mainline game...
Yeah, the online's like a celebration of Elder Scrolls.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking as well, like that anonymous guy would probably be getting in trouble with his PR people if he gets found out. Obviously, like it would be dodgy. The only thing would be if it was actually a purposeful PR move sort of thing. But I know it would be a bit of an edgy sort of thing. But
I mean, 2025. When did Skyrim come out? Was it 2013? I want to say when Skyrim came out. I could have been completely wrong, and it could be like 2016. But I feel like it was early parts. Skyrim. It came out on the Xbox 360, so we'll type that in. Xbox 360 came out in 2011.
I was going to say,
Jesus, earlier than that. Okay, so that would have been 14 years by the time the new one comes out.
Yeah. Wow.
I want to say that's probably the biggest gap they've had between the Elder Scrolls series, between the likes of Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim. 14 years is a hell of a long time, but obviously they have been working a lot on the Elder Scrolls Online in between there.
Yeah.
Which for me, again, if you haven't played the Elder Scrolls Online, please go and play that game. You'll pick it up for about £4, and it is stupidly good. Stupidly good. If you like MMOs, that is. Going back, as I said, the chat was popping, so I'm just going to back run through these as well. Big Zombie Monkey says 2025. I'll be 44 by then, and still handsome as ever. Again, Shogun, welcome, mate. Corona for Luke coughing all over the gaff. Spike says, well, my hype then is due to release 100. My hope now 0. Madge says, how many delays I wonder it'll have? Mate, if they're having delays after 14 years, then there's no hope for this game. Delayed until 2035 on the PlayStation 5.5. It just works. Bethesda needs those 4 or 5 years to ensure that they can get microtransactions into every... Mate, I do not think... then again, I said this with Fallout. I don't think... If they was to put microtransactions into the new Elder Scrolls game, that would seriously hinder their fan reputation in regards to an Elder Scrolls game.
It seemed like a bad marketing move.
Yeah. But the microtransactions that they put in it isn't an online game, so it'd mean absolutely nothing. I mean, you gain nothing by putting microtransactions into a game like that.
Yeah.
Bethesda's Need for... Okay, we've seen that one. And strip off an RPG system like Fallout. Yeah, it's not... I don't think... They've already got the online stuff, so they don't need to be able to incorporate that in there. And he says, I need to make sure that I get ready for all platforms, including N64. Spike says, Bibi nailed it 100%. They would never leak this game and go without heads rolling. Exactly. I think it's too much of a treasured IP for them to be able to want to put in second-hand information out like this. I genuinely feel like just scraped this unknown developer guy has just scraped the whole of Reddit to pull out all his fan favorites and string them all together himself. I mean, if Metro picking up this kind of whiffing up this kind of news, then I imagine most throughout the next couple of days will be picking this up and posting it. So that person then has just literally made the news for a load of nothing, really.
It's unfortunate, really, that these news sites they've recognised that it's going to be a story that's going to be clicked on, and they're going to put it out, but whether they themselves really believe that it's real, probably not.
If you haven't played Skyrim as well, I know I've just been shouting up about the Elder Scrolls Online. If you haven't played Skyrim, first of all, where have you been all this time? Second of all, there are a million mods out there to try and bring this game into 4K resolutions, and a lot of them are absolutely fantastic. And brings the game back to life again, because it came out in 2011, do you know what I mean? Fair enough, we got it on PC, and then we got it back on the PS4, Xbox One X, made it look absolutely stunning. But to make it look even better, if you played it on PC, you pick it up for about £4, download the mods that are free to play, and it will literally change the game. If you've completed it once, go back, play it again, your mind will be blown. Madge says that it's still the same game engine. Christ, I don't know. The micro jumps that you used to be able to do to try and get up on mountains. So if you couldn't walk around it, you just do little micro jumps, and eventually you'd hit the texture to be able to carry on going all the way up. I knew that because my daughter was born then and came out, and I neglected her to play Skyrim. Obviously, what else would you do? Okay, I never neglected her, but she did sit in front of me the entire battle a lot. Mate, there is nothing better than an Elder Scrolls world to sink your teeth into, which is, again, I will die on this hill that Elder Scrolls Online was a fantastic game, still is a fantastic game. I need to get back into it again. Now we've got the Elsewhere patch. To get lost in those worlds, I mean, you must do it with games that you end up playing, especially with things like Final Fantasy. You are putting in hundreds of hours into these games. You want to get lost in that universe. You essentially want to be the characters that you're playing.
I know, yeah.
And for me, there is no better world buying Resident Evil, but I don't really want to live in a world where there's zombies knocking about and I've got limited ammo. I'm rubbing herbs on my knees to try and heal myself.
You've got to have like games that you want to be in because they're just nice to be in.
Yeah.
So that, you know, it's part of your gaming arsenal, if you like.
Exactly. And for as long as I can remember, I've been playing Elder Scrolls games way back on the PC, my nan's PC. Like I'm talking early 2000s at this point when I was a Wii Ute. Not a Wii U. Like as a young child. So yeah, being able to get back into this universe again, I can't wait. Spike, you say that you're going to be 44 when this game eventually may end up coming out. That's no age to be able to get stuck into a Skyrim. It just means that you've got more time now. Madge says, "Oh, bless, microtransactions for a single player game could be cosmetics." Yeah, but fair enough. If you want to put that in there, then that's fine because essentially you're not gaining anything, you're just making your character look cool. But the best part about playing those games is going into dungeons, killing dragons, and getting the loot that will give you better armor. Or I mean, some of the characters for the best armor look ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like there's just different color combos, different materials. You look an absolute dick, but it gives you the best armor resistance. So why wouldn't you use it? Shogun says, sorry, I've already read that one. Madge says, ES6, basically the game that could save their bacon. I hope so, because there's been a lot, don't want to say turmoil, but there's been a lot of backlash, especially with the Fallout stuff.
Yeah.
The Doom stuff will hinder that tide for the time being. But, I mean, again, I keep on saying it, the ESO game itself, people are still enjoying it and are still playing it in the thousands. So, the Elder Scrolls name hasn't been tainted yet. The ball is in their court.
Exactly, yeah. I think, you know, the whole, like, sort of loot boxy microtransaction sort of thing as well. I feel like developers are learning the lessons slowly here on it, because with EA and Bethesda sort of making mistakes around that area. Like, is there a game comparable to what Elder Scrolls 6 would be that actually has microtransactions, like actual story-based game?
The only one that I can think of that will be on level par with popularity, and it's not even a direct competition. Two games. There was Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Right,
I think that was probably the nearest one that would get to a Skyrim clone that's in between Skyrim and what's going to be coming out.
Yeah, true.
Elder Scrolls 6. I think that was probably the closest we got. But in terms of popularity and the way that the game plays, probably would be GTA.
Yeah, I guess so.
Despite it being a completely different era, a period of time, and obviously one's guns, one's swords, but
yeah, I guess GTA has all that kind of microtransactions, isn't it? But
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, it could be a dangerous way for them to go. I understand the temptation. There would be a temptation there, but
I hope not, because the whole carcass of an Elder Scrolls game is to go out and basically just salvage everything, anything that you can find.
You want to be able to earn everything.
Exactly.
Earn your gear, even if it is just cosmetic. You want to be able to go out there and do your quests and like discover it by like going through some walkthrough because it's so obscure to get.
Well, as a person who's played MMOs and World of Warcraft for a stupid amount of years, you know full well that there's and myself, Spike, anybody else who ends up playing an Elder Scrolls game, there's nothing more satisfying than going through a dungeon, taking out the boss, and getting that loot. It's the right loot for you. You end up at armor's plus 20. Yeah. You've got a brand new sword to boot. It does 30 more damage. That's the most satisfying thing when you're playing a game, which is why I like to play RPGs. I like playing sports games, fair enough, but an RPG or a storyline drama game, that's me. I like to be in that world.
Usually, yeah, same.
Sometimes knowing full well that you're going to spend 300 hours of your life playing through that game is a little bit tedious, but if the story's good enough and it keeps you entertained, then it doesn't matter if it's a 20-hour game or...
Exactly. You're not losing either way, are you? As long as you're like investing each hour in a positive way, you know. So if you ever kind of think, oh, Christ, I hate this game, then you move on, but... Yeah.
Lella Blue, hello! Favourite horror game, Resident Evil, obviously mine. And he said, oh my god, I'm playing Kingdom Come Deliverance right now. It's like... Do you know what? Telepathic reading right there. Do you know what
Precisely.
I mean? I mean, you put favourite horror game exclamation mark, so I'm guessing that was Resident Evil. You know what? We could be best friends. We could be best friends at this point. Big Zombie Monkey says, I can't wait for Capcom to sell out on Resident Evil 8 as microtransactions just so I can watch Baby go through. Okay, right. So this whole studio, when it comes to streaming the game, if there's microtransactions in the game, that's getting ripped off the wall. That's getting ripped off the wall. That's getting ripped out the desk.
The lighting behind us will just slowly turn red. It's sort of like fire will start sort of like speeding up the walls.
Honest to God, with the with the fan service that they've delivered in Resident Evil in the last 2 games, if they was to put something like that in the game, they are fucking idiots.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if it's in the Project Resistance, the second half of the game, which has just been bundled in. If it's in that, that's fine, because chances are I'm probably not going to play that.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't affect the storyline itself, then I'm not really asked. Fatman Dave says, Es Los Santos. Good morning to you, mate. I hope you're doing all right. Big Zombie Funky says, the loot is how World of Warcraft has been around for over a decade. Exactly. Once you keep it draws you in, knowing full well there's going to be a new raid put into the game. Listen, there was nothing bigger in the last 10 years. Okay, barring Fortnite. I don't think there's been anything bigger in video games in the last 10 years than when World of Warcraft Classic came back out.
Yeah, it was a pretty massive deal, wasn't it? It has died off a bit now in terms of like current popularity, but it was massive at the time. Every single Twitch streamer that I saw, whether or not I didn't even know that they liked World of Warcraft, but the nerdness came out as soon as you went into their stream. Like Stroud was playing it, didn't even know that he liked World of Warcraft. Tim Tapman, he was playing it. Summit, he was playing it. Like, these high-profile streamers was all nerding out over World of Warcraft. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to watch. I don't know much about Warcraft. However, 2 of my best friends grew up playing that game, and I would sit there playing Pro Evo on a screen behind them as them 2 nerd off for like 48 hours doing raids. Exactly. I think even for people who didn't play it first time round, it's an iconic name, isn't it? So, Christ. So yeah, it's like, I just want to try it out, see what all the fuss was about, sort of thing. Yeah.
See, I did it for 2 weeks, but it was way back when I couldn't get into MMOs. Like, I tried it, and I couldn't get my head around it. However, now, if I probably went back and played it, I'd probably thoroughly enjoy it, because I've matured. My game palette's matured over time, so I could probably get my head around it now. Not that I've got the time to be able to play an MMO at this point.
No, I know, that's the problem, innit? It takes so long.
Mad, have I missed anything? Okay, so Madge says, that's a mod I want to see. ES in GTA. What's ES? Oh, Elder Scrolls in GTA. Jesus. It wasn't capitalised. I wholeheartedly apologise. Not for your grammar, but just because I'm terrible at reading. You wouldn't think that, considering we read stories every single day, would you?
Yeah, we're not... You know, I can't speak after my last one as well.
You call it Daggerfell, mate. You was going to get a Daggerfell then. Madge says, what was that musical jingle? Very good point. In fact, if I go onto this, it should tell me. Leather Blue, thank you very much for your follow. Very much appreciate that. Again, I apologise if you are hearing the audio. You're not meant to. And you're not seeing that the follows come up on the screen. This is The Scoop. We go live every single weekday at 10 a.m. with the video game news that we think that you want to know about. We take your views, we give our views. We all come together. We walk away with some fantastic video game knowledge. Yeah, essentially. So I've just brought it up on the screen. I do very much appreciate that. I can't hear the jingles, so thank you very much for pointing that out. And thank you very much for the follow. Lala Blue says, how long have you been doing this channel for? So the channel, I think, has been about 3 years. I want to say. I mean, if Graham's in it,
2 or something. Yeah, maybe as much as 3. I mean, time goes fast. But I'd say at least 2. Maybe. Yeah. But yeah, the show, well, that's more like a few months or something, is it?
Yeah. So I think this. Okay, I'll give you the rigmarole, because obviously you are here, Lala. You're new here. This is The Scoop. We go live every single weekday at 10 a.m. with the video game news. It goes live now on Twitch. It goes on YouTube an hour later, and then it also goes out on podcast services, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play. I always forget about that one, because no one listens to it on that. Later on in the day, around 3 o'clock. It basically is just, we go through the video game news. We want to be able to tell you guys what it is that we have opinions on. You give your opinions. We all go together with new video game knowledge. But this channel has been going for... not 3 yet, says Graham. But I want to say 2.5-ish. Full time, 2.5-ish.
We had a bit of a soft launch period as well. So, but yeah.
But this show has been going since late October. We literally drove the date into people's minds when it was going live, and I cannot remember for the life of me when it went live. But yeah, it's been going since about October time anyway. So yeah, it's my favourite part of the show, part of the day anyway, being able to give you guys interacting with you, giving you the video game news, because there is a lot of people who have influence in the video game world, like Asim, community manager of Konami, and CI Games. Yeah, this is really bad. What is the new company that he works for now? Is it Jagex?
No, it's I mean, it's like it's Zynga, but it's
Zynga. That's it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a thing off that. I think, but
yeah. So we have a lot of our community members in here as well that we play video games with quite a lot. So it's perfect to be able to come together and talk nerdy news, pretty much. Zynga, that's the one. 3 years, as long as Score Against Cancer. Wait, Score Against Cancer is older than ICU. There we go. There's your time little period for you. But yeah, it's video game news. We like to discuss them pretty much. We also play video games as well. Like Josie's going to be going live at 12 o'clock with Dishonored 2. So yeah, we do play video games, not only just talking about them.
Yeah.
So that was the Elder Scrolls 6. We've still got 3 more news articles left. And again, we said it was a big day of video games in terms of news. Not only is it Super Mario Day, but as a nice little bib way. You like that?
I like that.
We will go into this next news article. Reggie, Mr. Nintendo himself, apparently retired when he left Nintendo. We all knew that he wouldn't stay retired because he's a man that likes to work.
He is.
Former Nintendo boss Reggie Fils-Aimé. I can never.
You know what? I'm so used to seeing the name.
Yeah.
But I very rarely, if ever, have tried pronouncing it out loud.
Everybody knows him as Reggie. Reggie from
Reggie.
Nintendo. That's all you needed to know.
Yeah.
Former Nintendo boss Reggie joins GameStop's board of directors. Now, this is a complete turn of events that I did not. Hands up in the chat. Who knew or even thought that this would be possible? Because this would be a million miles away. From my point of view, GameStop is a sinking ship. Why the hell would Reggie want to ruin his reputation or put his reputation on the line to try and help this company?
It's very interesting one. I don't know. I mean, they're still probably the second or third biggest maybe gaming site out there. It's an interesting one though. You kind of. Yeah, I don't know. He must just be a fan of them or something.
Well, let's find out what he has to say altogether. Yeah. Reggie stepped down as Nintendo of America president in February 2019, set on retiring and relaxing after more than a decade in the role. That relaxation period has come to an end. However, with Reggie set to join GameStop's board of directors at a time when the gaming retail chain could use some much-needed guidance. GameStop has undergone changes as its quarterly revenue and stock continue to deteriorate. Part of that includes pivoting to being more than just a physical games retailer, selling products like Funko Pop toys and geek-related apparel. The company is also reportedly laying off mid-level managers and employees in an attempt to cut costs, according to Polygon. Reggie will hopefully help GameStop figure out its next steps as it tries to remain relevant and successful in an increasingly digital world. This is a quote. The gaming industry needs healthier and vibrant GameStops. Reggie tweeted. I keep on removing his surname in there because I can't pronounce it and putting Reggie, so I apologise if it throws you off if you're reading along. Reggie tweeted, I look forward to being part of GameStop's board and helping make this happen. Reggie joined the board with 2 others, William Simon and James Simang. Yeah, this is anybody? James Simike. We'll go with
James. Yeah.
Simon was a former CEO of Walmart, and James was the current CEO and president of PetSmart. Both Simon and James will start immediately, while Reggie is set to join on April 20th. Their appointments come in wake of board members Dan DiMatteo, Gerard.
You picked a good
Gerald and Larry and Steve Coonan stepping down. We also look forward to immediately benefiting from their expertise and perspectives, as well as navigating the evolving gaming and retail environments. Execute on our strategic initiatives and prepare the company to maximise value creation associated with the next generation of console launches later on this year, George said in a statement. During this time as Nintendo of America president, Reggie oversaw the launch of several successful and innovative platforms, including the Wii, Nintendo 3DS, and Nintendo's current hot seller, the Switch. Reggie was also in charge of the company when Nintendo released the less successful console, the Wii U. Reggie became known as Reggie to Nintendo, and does, apparently, in this article, to Nintendo fans, making an appearance at popular conferences like E3 and hosting a number of important Nintendo Direct keynotes to announce new games coming out. Okay, so it looks like Graham has phonetically dropped it into the chat so I don't make a massive dick of myself anymore. Seaman Chick. Is that how we're pronouncing it? I feel like I've just said that, and
I mean,
I said chick.
The thing is, it naturally sounds like it could be dodgy, but also completely correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah,
I was very careful with the last word there.
That's probably actually what it is. Yeah, and then if anyone can help us actually announce Reggie's second name as well, that'd be good. I think it's like Fils-Aimé. Fils-Aimé.
It looks a bit French, and I know Show can speak French, so if he can break that down phonetically.
Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Yeah.
I feel that's probably.
But yeah, I mean, I never saw this coming.
No,
I never ever saw this coming.
It's a weird one, I guess. It's probably a bit of sentimentality there with the traditional way of buying games and stuff like that, going to shops and stuff that he wants to save, and he probably feels like he's putting his heart into something that he's passionate about in that sense. He doesn't want to see retail die.
Yeah, which I don't. As a collector, I don't want to see it die. I would comfortably. I'd say they're in very comfortable. I would say they're in very comfortable hands in Reggie. I do think this is a hugely uphill challenge for him to be able to definitely try and swing round.
It's kind of one of those where if he can't help, then probably not many people can. And it will just die anyway. But I think it's good that he's put his time into it. You know.
Yeah. I mean, anybody in the chat that has an opinion on this one, do feel free to let us know. I imagine your opinions will be the same as ours when it comes to this. It's going to be a tough challenge for him, considering all the bad press that GameStop has been receiving over the last, I'd say, 2 years at this point. It's very much like what the game situation is like in the UK at the moment. They're not having the best time. And I think as early as last year, they went into administration trying to think of new ways to try and bring a newer crowd in what seems to be an all-digital future. I imagine if there's one person, like you said, if there's one person that's going to try and change it around, who's been there, done that, and made Nintendo, I'd arguably say made Nintendo one of the biggest companies in the world, not just as a video game company, but as a company itself. Very brand orientated. When you see a Nintendo logo, you pretty much know what you're going to get. Exactly. Having him come on stage, you knew you was in for a good time.
Yeah, hugely.
Because they would be announcing something really exciting. So it'll be interesting to see how he takes this forward. I can't see it ending well, unfortunately.
I know it's like a little retirement project that I suppose, not post-retirement project that. He probably isn't going to come off badly from it either way, because he's just so liked as a person. Yeah. So it's probably not too risk heavy for him, but I'm sure obviously he's still going to be putting a lot of his time into it that he could end up wasting essentially. But yeah, I think maybe he knows that he is himself a brand. You know, that he is himself someone who is so likable, and that it will help the image of the retail company. You know, it's making me think, all right, that's cool. If we're going to see more of his face on those kind of things, then I want to shop there now.
Yeah, well, there was news of them potentially changing their shops. I mean, it was in the article there, but we'd seen a few pictures knocking around not that long ago that they were trying to change the shops to not only buying games, but also places where you can go to be able to play games. So it'll be like you got the retail side of it, but then the social side of it. So you have people playing D&D, playing Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever it could be, and then you'd have the kiosks where you can go and play with your friends, hang out, or whatever it is that the Americans do nowadays. But yeah, it's interesting to see what kind of direction that they're going to be taking. I'm sure we'll see. But thank you very much to everyone in the chat that have been trying to give us ideas how to say his name. Fils-Aimé, it seems to be the common one. Shogun is trying his best there to phonetic out for me, but I'm not doing too well. It sounds like someone from my neck of the woods trying to say Fils-Aimé. Fils-Aimé. How very Mancunian. So GameStop, Reggie time. Oh, for God's sake, Spike, what are you doing to me? So that is another big news story down. Hopefully we'll see something get turned around. For me, it's going very much the sense of an all-digital future. We aren't going to see any of these brick-and-mortar stores anymore, which as a collector breaks my heart. But they need to sort the shit out from top to bottom. It's not just a case of they're there to sell games. Sell them. I mean, Graham had the discussion yesterday. Sell them at affordable prices. Don't inflate the price because you are a known brand. Exactly. Eventually, like now, people are going to stop going to you if you start selling them £20 more than I can go to base, get the game 3 days early, and still pay £20 less.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's all of that stuff and poor strategy on their part, plus the more general point that retail is dying anyway, like high street retail in a lot of places. Yeah. So it's an upward battle for sure. Yeah, Madge has just said then, I hope that it turns it around. Losing game would be a huge loss to the UK. And Spike says, if the stop collector stuff, then I'm out. It's essentially the way that I see it at the moment. There used to be nothing better than going into a video game shop, having a look on the wall, seeing what games you want to do. I think there's a few people in here that have worked in the video game retail side of things, working at Game Station. I'm fairly certain Asim did, and he said that he loved that job, having people coming in to be able to talk about video games, not just about selling them. Obviously, the upselling is a pain in the ass. They don't want to do it, we don't want it, but the people above them are telling them to try and force it upon it. Do you want scratch resistance discs? Do you want to be able to put protection on your pads? Which is not a bad shout considering the amount of football games that people in this chat play. But I love the thought of being able to work in a place like that and just talk to people about video games, because everybody likes different video games. Not everybody likes the same taste. Like, sure, I can't remember what Shogun played, but it looked fucking awful. It was like For Honor, but different, and it looked awful. But obviously, he's a guy that likes to play them games. Yeah. The same way that he'd probably look at games that I play and go, "What the fuck? Why is he playing a game that's 30 years old? Exactly. Maybe what you're playing at." Everybody likes their own type of games. So having a conversation with people and coming to a middle ground, saying, "Oh, that's a really good game," blah blah blah. It's that would make your day go 10 times fast. But it's just the top down. It's not there. It needs to be a lot more customer focused rather than it being money driven. But as a business, they need to look after the money. I know, yeah.
That's the payoff.
They have to find a way of getting it both right.
Yeah. And I suppose again, there's no one better than Reggie to try and bridge that gap between consumer and
exactly.
The people at the top.
Maybe that is why it's such a good move. It's because he is. I mean, I'm sure he's a very clever, savvy businessman, but his repertoire, if you like, is that he is loved by people. And
exactly.
Stuff. So it is that customer service aspect, if you like. If you can put that into the company, that'd be amazing.
Well, Absolver, that was it. Yeah, that was... God, that looked awful. Big Zombie Monkey says, B&M is fine so long as our toilet rolls were on fire. I worked at Game Station, best job that I ever had. Also says Spike. Again, if you are a video game person and if you are a people person, I mean, even if you're not, bridging the gap with video games if you are a video game player yourself, is a perfect icebreaker.
Usually, yeah.
Especially if you're working in a game shop. I mean, it's perfect, really, isn't it? Ice Cream Butler says it's a sign of demand, a damned business when they sell for max profit rather than looking after the loyal customers. Shares demand profits. Knee-jerk reaction can get profits today but kill potentials for tomorrow. Exactly. We've talked about this quite a lot of times on this show. We are firm believers that we want the video game stores to still be there because you want to go in, you want to browse, you want to talk to people, you want to be able to have an experience while you're in the shop. It's not as if you go into the corner shop to buy bog roll or whatever. You're investing a lot of money onto a game that you're going to play for quite a number of hours.
Yeah, exactly.
So they need to change the format of the way that they sell games. We've put forward how they could potentially do that, but I mean, who are we? We don't have degrees in business. Well, I don't have a degree in business. I don't know if you do.
No, I don't. I did business studies at secondary school. I don't think that counts.
But it seems to be common sense at this point what they need to do to try and make it a viable option for people to want to go back into a store rather than getting it online.
Yeah.
Will they put that into practice? I'll never know. Digital sales could have killed physical media many, many years ago, but instead still wanted to have the RRP. Graham mentioned it yesterday. A game could come out and it'd be £60, and then 6 months down the line, a physical release could end up being £30. But online, for whatever reason, if you want to download it from the PlayStation Store, it still remains £60. Yeah, they could have undercut the physical side of it, like Game and that, many, many years ago, but didn't.
Yeah.
Don't know why. It costs them absolutely nothing to be able to have it on there. They don't have to print the disc, the booklets, nothing. However, they've still not decided to do that. I don't know. I have no idea, but it seems common sense at this point. We'll see how this ends up with Reggie at the helm.
Absolutely.
So that was a hell of a debate. We've got two news articles left. Which one do you want to go through first, mate?
So I've got one open here, which is the VG247 one.
VG247. Do you want to take this one, mate?
I can take it. I will point to you if I need you to take over.
Okay.
Because at the moment I'm on a talk show and I can't speak for very long. So, today was the worst day in Japanese game stocks in over 10 years. Wow. This is by Emily Gera. I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name. Again, we've not done very well with pronouncing names today. Right. With the closing bell of Tokyo Stock Exchange, Japan has just experienced its worst day for game stocks in over a decade. Nintendo, Sony, Capcom and Konami, among others, each took a major hit today on Japan's stock exchange. As noted by game developer Dr. Serkentoto, Nintendo finished the day at minus 3.96%, Sony at minus 7.3%, Koei at 5.41%, Capcom at minus, this is all minus, Capcom at minus 6.68%, Konami at minus 6.76%, Sega at minus 6.74%, Square Enix at minus 5.79%, and Nippon Ichi at a whopping minus 17.58%. I've been following around 50 Japanese game stocks for over 10 years now, wrote Toto on Twitter. Today was the worst day I can remember. And there is a tweet here from him which continues, today was the worst day I can remember, and then he's literally just linked to all the ones that the article's already mentioned. Stock markets have been affected globally in the wake of growing fears over the impact of the coronavirus, which I have. Today, US shares were briefly suspended when sharp falls led to an automatic halt in buying and selling stocks. Crude oil has also experienced a sharp drop following a row between Russia and Saudi Arabia. The COVID-19 virus has caused concern throughout the games industry. Most recently, Emerald City Comic Con, which takes place in Seattle, was moved to summer due to coronavirus cases in the city. Other events such as GDC 2020, eFanFest and various esports events have been postponed or cancelled. Some developers also decided to skip PAX East over coronavirus concerns.
Okay, so straight into the chat. Shogun has asked, it'll all balloon again once the virus eventually gets sorted out, right? Thoughts?
You would have thought, you would hope so. I mean, we know from sort of like working with Konami from our side a little bit, it's been announced publicly that the Core Graphics Mini sort of console release has been postponed. These little sort of things like that must be having a financial impact, you would have thought. So if all these companies have experienced equivalents like that, then it's understandable why they're struggling a bit at the moment. But I don't know why. It depends. Like if we could see sort of like other similar things happening in, I appreciate that like Italy, for example, is a much smaller games country, right? But if we start seeing similar patterns, or whether it's specific to Japan or whatever, I think it will definitely get better, surely.
Yeah. Well, from that side of the world is the main export of video games consoles. So does this mean that potentially then, if the core graphics was delayed, does that mean that the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox One potentially could be Xbox Series X, could be delayed further down the line?
I guess if it lasts long enough and it keeps getting worse, I mean, that's the scary thing. We don't know where this is going, do we? We're hoping that by like the summer or whatever it'll be fine, but we just don't know.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Well, there's now Italy has been put on the whole of Italy has been put on shutdown by this point.
Yeah.
I think I seen something yesterday saying there's only 3 ways that you can leave the house if you are going to work, and there's no way if you're working from home. If you need medical supplies, or you need to go to the shop, but you have to remain 2 meters apart from each other, so it'll be like 1 in, 1 out at that point.
Yeah, true.
So how will this affect the video game world as it stands? Apparently it's affecting them, but obviously, like Nippon Ichi, down 17%, it's affecting more than others. But as a whole, I think this will start to have an impact on the entire world, regardless of whether or not you're a video game content creator or a shipper of physical media.
Yeah, just like anything. It must be having an effect on pretty much everything, really. yeah, like anything else that say Japan exports, I'm sure that must be having an effect, you know.
Spike said PS5 delayed until 2025, released with the Elder Scrolls 6. Well, they give me a bit more time to save up for a start, so that'd be great. Yeah, I mean, we'll see by the end of the year. I mean, Italy's on lockdown now. The football season over there has been put on in a block indefinitely. I seen yesterday. I don't know whether or not that was a blag tweet. Serie A's been postponed for the time being. All in favour of them stopping the season now, scrapping it so that Liverpool don't win the league. Say aye. I'm going to raise my hand. And raise two hands so that we don't have Liverpool winning the league. We'll scrap it again and we'll start next year.
For lack of bias, I support Liverpool on this occasion.
Mr. Paul Machin, Chris Pajak and Ross, I am very sorry. But the season's over, mate. And you didn't win anything. That's unfortunate. We've already won a League Cup, so it's not a trophy this season for us again. But yeah, it's getting to a point now where you are looking at the rest of the world. I mean, there's only been 3 confirmed cases in the UK so far, I think. I mean,
hasn't there been like 4 deaths or something?
Yeah, it could be 4 deaths actually, not 3 confirmed cases or 4 confirmed cases.
It's been more cases, but
yeah, like Italy's 476 or whatever it is, so that it's easy to see why. I mean, what? There was a meme going around saying that like when someone's got a bit of flu, they'll stay and they won't do anything. But someone gets this COVID-19 and they want to travel the world by spreading it. They're getting on planes, going to Timbuktu or wherever it is that they're going to end up going to. So yeah, it's one of them things now where does this go? Where does it stop? Conferences, gigs, any kind of public meetings have been now closed for the last 2 months.
No, it's so difficult to say from this perspective, obviously without the hindsight that we'll have in a year or whatever. Yeah. Like whether this is complete overreaction or it's because we're not worried about necessarily. I mean, obviously is bad. I'm not putting like light to the situation as it is. Obviously the deaths that have been caused by this is horrific, as it would have been in any kind of flu or illness. Yeah. But we're worried about how it's going to escalate, really, aren't we? We're worried about like where it's going to in trying to contain that. So if we were to completely be like, oh, let's go about our business all the time, and then it really starts to escalate to sort of like apocalyptic levels, then we'll be like, yeah, we probably shouldn't have done that. But equally, we could contain it and 6 months' time be thinking like, wow, what was all the fuss about? It's so difficult.
The stupidest thing about all of this, though, and it's been well documented online, if you go onto Twitter now, you just type in like bog roll apocalypse or something like that, and it's of stupid people. Like, I hope to God that they don't have children because they are thick as fuck. Go into the shop and buying 700 rolls of toilet roll, knowing full well that, okay, my family's sorted out. You're gonna be interacting with other people who may have the virus, you fucking idiot. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh God, just don't reproduce.
Gotta get my toilet roll tonight.
Well, I think Graham said yesterday, these people, it doesn't make you have the shits, so why are you buying bog roll for? Do you know what it's like? It's so stupid.
Just bog roll as well, like, you know, like not food or whatever. You know,
you could carry around 700 bottles of hand sanitizer and then go and shake hands with someone who doesn't have 700 bottles of sanitizer. Well done, dickhead. You've got the virus now. You know, it's so stupid. Yeah. People are stupid. Like they just panic about anything, and it's the same people who read the news without taking. They'll just believe everything that they read.
Yeah, exactly.
If enough people start to talk about a certain thing, they will believe it rather than taking a snippet of that information and going, hold on a minute, let me make my own critical thinking, my own decision about what I've just heard. Yeah. And they'll take somebody else's word for it, and then everything just goes into meltdown. I imagine Spike working in B&M at the moment, I don't even want to begin to imagine. Like, I used to work in B&M many years ago, and the amount of the caliber of people that walk through that door.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, are not the brightest bunch.
No.
It's a very cheap shop.
Yeah.
Right. So it's the caliber of people that walk through the door and buy stuff aren't the brightest. So I can't imagine the people who will be raiding B&M at the moment for things like hand sanitizer, I mean, it's not even hand wash. Like, buy soap. It's literally just hand sanitizer. Oh, a bit of alcohol. If that's gone, they'll just be pouring bottles of whiskey and vodka and stuff like that on their hands to try and get rid of it. Yeah. That's what it's going to come down to.
I mean, you know, it's fine if you want to buy a bottle of hand sanitizer. It's probably sensible. But yeah, you don't want to like buy out the shop or whatever.
Just putting your hand on the shelf and just going like into your trolley.
Exactly.
Spike says, mate, don't. The question I get asked every day is, do you sell toilet rolls? Do you have antibacterial hand wash? We sold out of beans yesterday. Beans, for fuck's sake.
Oh god.
Graham says that Pokemon mean COVID-19 suffers, I will travel across the land. That's what I mean. It's so dumb. Someone sneezed shit, I've got to wipe my ass. I have been asked numerous times where is the paint whilst I'm nearly stood there in the paint aisle. What's that there is there? That's always the best. Mate, where's your milk? And yeah, it's just like John Travolta meme. It's just like, for God's sake. This is the world that has already gone insane over New Year's Eve for a loaf of bread and milk. Do you know, I can't. It's so dumb. Thieves will be going into shops saying, give me that hand sanitizer or I will touch you. That's a great shout. That's a great shout, spreading it that way. But yeah, I mean, this is the world that we live in at the moment. A very, very good episode of The Office. There was Dwight Schrute that says, I think we need a new plague. And essentially, at the moment, unfortunately, it's old people and people who don't have great immune systems that are being taken out. But I wish it was natural selection, just to take out people who are thick as fuck.
Fewest brain cells.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just panic buying, like Andrex, Kleenex, and whoever it is that makes Cleanies, that makes these antibacterial stuff, they must be like, oh, we can't get it out quick enough, quick. Send another 17 lorries down to B&M because there's fucking idiots down in Poulton that are trying to buy a load of hand sanitizer. You'd just be flying it out the door at this point.
It's true, yeah. And like Shogun says, it isn't even like this stuff works most of the time. It's like antibacterial, not antiviral. So
yeah,
it's
just so dumb. But unfortunately, that people have sadly lost their lives to this stuff. But it's no different than a normal flu virus. It's just affecting people on a grander scale. Like, did someone just touch on it in here then about it being in China? Did you see those people who thought that the Chinese guys, because they thought there was contagious? Genius. Let's touch people who think there's people. There is. Chinese restaurants that are like fighting for custom at the moment because they think that because they're Chinese that they're going to have the virus, so no one's going to eat there. It's just like,
it's so bad, isn't it?
It's natural selection needs to take toll at this point and just fucking wipe those people out of the world. Please do not reproduce if you are one of these people that listen to this podcast. I mean, it's very rare that I'll call you out for stuff, but when it's something as stupid as this, stop reading the Daily Mail and the Sun is all I can say.
100%.
Is this how Resident Evil started? Well, there was a very good meme that was knocking about, which the people who were looking after it, the COVID-19 doctors or scientists, was part of a building that had the same logo as Umbrella, and their fucking building name or whatever was an anagram of Umbrella.
Right, yeah.
So who knows? Who knows
That's
at this point?
Confirmed. Illuminati confirmed.
They could rename the local Chinese COVID-19 and still order it. Exactly, mate. There's nothing better than salt and pepper chicken. Do you know what I mean? So,
I love if they did that, like a Chinese restaurant, just to like
tongue in cheek.
Everyone. Yeah.
Banter. So yeah, if you are one of these people that are taking everything so literal, not in most cases, if you are cancelling video game events, that's probably the right thing to do in certain areas of the world. But just make sure you wash your hands. Just be a bit more hygienic. That's all you need to do. If you've got an half decent immune system, just wash your hands. Like, it's not difficult. Look after yourself. Be hygienic. If you stink, go and get a wash and put some deodorant on. If you've been to the toilet, wash your hands. It's simple lifestyle changes, people. If you're not doing it now, you may end up getting wiped out. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you could get it anyway, but that's just unfortunate.
Well, yeah, that is unfortunate.
It's just the way it is.
Madge says, have it delivered to your house. If he's on Funky too, right? I'd even get the delivery man a handshake or a high five. Fist bumping, whatever it takes.
Exactly.
But yeah, just make sure that you. Oh my God, what's this? Okay, let me just flick this. Why is Reggie's face like that? He looked horrified. Let's see if we can skip back. There we go. The face you make when you realise the mistake that you've made by going to GameStop.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got one more news story left for you today. Congratulations, ABG, Art Any Button Gaming. This is your first article that's been featured on The Scoop. Let's hope that it's a good one. I mean, I've read it, it is a good one. For those of you that are in like Call of Duty and are dying for a Modern Warfare 2 remaster, is this the news story that's going to make your day? We'll find out in about 20 seconds long. As Rickard Persson writes, a few years back, Activision released a sorry, I'll start again. My acid reflex just caught me off guard there. A few years back, Activision released a remastered version of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and ever since then, the fans have screamed for a remaster of the sequel, Modern Warfare 2. Well, it seems like celebrations are in order, or at least coming from Okami, the man on the inside who posted this on Twitter, and it's an embedded tweet from Okami13_ saying Modern Warfare Remastered is releasing this year with multiplayer hashtag Modern Warfare, hashtag MW2R at the Gaming Revo 2. Activision hasn't, as of yet, commented about the supposed leak, and I know a fair few people who are positively vibrating out of excitement. One of them's Graham Day, I'm telling you right now, to play this Modern Warfare 2 again, and it seems like the game will be releasing this year. How about you? Are you looking forward to joining Roach and Captain Soap? Could this be the person that wants to be the poster boy of the COVID-19?
I think he's come at the right time.
Yeah, he has come at the right time. Captain Soap, get him out. In the hunt for Marakov, or will you be spending your time 360 no-scoping noobs in multiplayer as pre-subsequent hurls and prepubescent hurls insults at you through the mic regarding your mother? Please take me back 10 times. As always, make sure you stick around to ABG for the latest gaming news and features from around video game news. Graham is extremely excited. The gaming industry is fast becoming one of those take movie industry bollocks to new movies. It's remake everything you loved and it's fucked up. And then Graham screams, "It's happening!" Fatman Daves, it's going to be alright if you're getting the code for takeaways. I use Just Eat, so I won't have to give a tip. Ice Cream. Graham also says, "Everybody stay calm, stay fucking calm." And Magic says, "Well, the relaunch of the original was an absolute disgrace." So, a very
mixed sort of bag of comments there. Really.
So there's a lot of people. Well, just Graham at this point. Graham is gone for one day, and Bibby is saying that he hopes people die. I mean. I can't really say much more than that.
Yeah, you can't really argue with that. It's happened.
As says, ban ice cream uploads for spamming. I mean, it's a good thing to be spamming about. I know that Graham's been screaming this from the top of Jelly Media HQ for the last 2 years that he's wanted to remaster of Modern Warfare 2, and I have to agree with him. It is by far the Call of Duty game that I played the most. There was nothing better. I mean, you go into YouTube and type in Modern Warfare 2 lobbies and just listen to the shit that you used to get from people.
What year was it that came out? Did it say on this?
It didn't say on this, unfortunately, but I'm going to hazard a guess because my guessing has been bang on today.
Yeah, go on.
That it was 2007, but I could be wrong. Modern Warfare 2, Xbox 360. Is anyone going to give us an idea first? 2009. So it was 2 years out again. As says, true that Modern Warfare 2 is what every COD fan is remaking, but it's not going to be the same. Modern Warfare 1, when it got remastered and brought out, it wasn't the same. I didn't get the same feeling that I did back then. But yeah, I want to see it. I want to play it. I want to be back in that world again for the time being. I mean, I'll probably end up playing it for like a month and then forget playing about it again. But it was a beautiful time. I mentioned it about a few games. It was a right game at the right time.
Yeah. So do you, and you know, I'll ask this to Graham as well, do you guys honestly feel that it will feel like it will catch that feeling again, sort of thing, and will it feel dated? Sort of thing?
If they remaster it, then I don't think we can say that it could potentially feel dated.
Damn the 19th month, I forgot to cancel
the right game at the right time now.
Yeah.
It was very much, there was a couple of games that we mentioned, it was the right game at the right time. When it fell into my life anyway. I imagine like The Last of Us for Graham, he's mentioned that it meant a lot to him. The fact that The Last of Us was about, I mean, for those of you that haven't played it, it's about a gentleman who's he lost a child, so he's found a surrogate child knocking about, and he's trying to keep her safe and things like that. At the time when that came out, that hit home to a lot of people at the time. So this definitely was the right game at the right time.
Yeah.
hopefully we'll be able to see it. I mean, I've just seen the chat going wild again because someone has subbed, so I'm going to find out who it is. I apologise. The sub emotes are going wild. And again, if you are driving and you've swerved, blame whoever it is that's subbed.
Blame whoever it is that normally takes care of making sure this stuff doesn't happen.
I apologise. Beans, damn, the 19th month I forgot to cancel this. Beans, we very much appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much for subscribing and killing people. But yeah, it was the right game at the right time for me. I imagine it's going to be the same for a lot of people. Will we be able to recapture this magic in a bottle?
Well, see, the thing is, like, a remaster, right? It's not... Remaster is different than like a remake, though, isn't it? So I presume the mechanics will still be the same. It will just look nicer.
Good point. Yeah, like, the remake is like what a Final Fantasy and a Resident Evil is like, not a remaster where it was just high resolution.
So I'm wondering whether the game mechanics themselves might feel dated or whatever. But
I must agree with you with that actually, because the original Modern Warfare that came out and got re-released, it didn't feel modern.
Yeah.
Despite the name of the title, it didn't feel like what Black Ops 4 felt like. It felt dated.
Yeah, yeah.
But hopefully, I mean, it's not gonna hurt their sales.
No, exactly.
As soon as you put that title on anything, it's gonna sell.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the nostalgia alone, isn't it?
Exactly. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. I apologise. Spike says Modern Warfare 2 will come out and remastered and it'll be dead in a few months. I genuinely loved Modern Warfare 2, but it's been and gone. Nostalgia washes away quickly when you go back and play it a lot. I've got to agree with that, because I felt the same with the Getaway Black Monday, which was definitely one of them games that I thought was going to recapture that nostalgia, but in essence it just ruined the game for me. Please don't go back and play it if you had that in your collection. Ad says, I don't like COD, I suck at it. Well, you suck at PES, but you still play it. And FIFA, because I beat you on that as well. Ninja Bachelor, that alert scared the shit out of me. I'm sorry, mate. I need to turn it down, especially when we do stuff like this. I played semi-pro on PC, says Madge. There's a lot of hype badges. That sound alert, rip anyone ploughing into the hard shoulder. Crash my new car, thanks Beans. I blame Graham. Pleasure. What the fuck? COD Warfare was class. There seems to be a massive argument going on between people now. The issue about that was hidden behind a paywall. Do you mean the Modern Warfare Remastered, the original one? Yeah, I imagine it was part of. Was it Infinite Warfare? And you had to pay like you had to buy the collector's edition to get it.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah,
Bibby's gone savage. Dang the bird.
Why are you saying dang me?
But yeah, I'm seriously looking forward to it coming out. Will we be able to recapture the magic in the bottle again? I personally don't feel we'll be able to, but if they want money, it's a license to print money at this point.
Well, yeah, I don't know, because I mean, I'm not in this nostalgia loop. I didn't play it first time around, so I don't know. But I'm just trying to think of like similar things, games that they've come back, they've been nostalgic about the remastered or whatever they're going to remaster. I always seem to end up mentioning the Command & Conquer one when I'm here, but that's coming in. I've just released some more. Yeah, they released some more info the other day, and I'm like really excited by it. Hopefully, I won't be disappointed when it comes out. But I don't know. There are certain things I feel like with games in general and how they age and stuff like that. There's a middle point where games don't age well. If you go back to like 2D platformers or whatever, they actually do age well, don't they? They actually feel like you can go back to them and you can play them still fine. It's that middle period of like Nintendo 64 era or like maybe your PlayStation 1 and 2 era.
It's when they was experimenting with the polygons and stuff like that to try and make 3D worlds. They just didn't. They don't age well at all. But like I said, any kind of pixel art, platforming, 16 or 8-bit game, 32-bit as well. Potentially the latest stuff in the PlayStation has aged quite well-ish. Like again, I'm on the show, so I mentioned Resident Evil. Resident Evil for me has aged well enough for me to still be able to go back and play it.
Sure.
If you are familiar with tank controls, and the game still plays really well. But like you said, the original Tomb Raider, go back and play that. Oh my god, it's shocking.
Imagine.
No Mercy in the N64, best wrestling game ever. Fight mate. Nope, I'm not fighting you because I fully agree with you. Graham says you had to buy the special edition or something to get it, not like the new BR being free. It shows Activision are learning. Exactly. I hope enough people voted with the wallets on that, because the fact that you had to buy the special edition, which I think was about £90 for a game that usually is £60, and then if you wanted to buy the separate one, just pay £20, they'd pay the difference or something like that, not buy the special edition to be able to buy that game. It shows that they're learning. I very much agree with you on that one, Graham, too. Madge says early 3D games are not a smooth period to replay. Exactly. The first part of the PlayStation 1 and the N64.
I know, it's just like when you're talking about Tomb Raider, it's that idea of like, you know, when you just want to get them to aim in a certain direction, you're just kind of like doing this sort of thing. And
it was the movement, you know, where you had to go to the edge of like a platform, but it should take a big stride and you just slip off the edge. You're like, do you know what? After 400 times a dying, fuck this, I'm not doing it again.
How was it a classic when it came out? It's just weird, isn't it?
But yes, it does look like that is the end of today's show. Thank you very much for joining us for Tuesday, the 10th of March. It's been an action-packed show. It's been a decent news day today. Usually it's quite slow the early parts of the week. You get to Wednesday, Thursday, it picks up, and then Friday's a bit of a letdown. But we've had 2 strong shows the early parts of this week, and hopefully the remainder of the week will continue to. Josie will be back in about half an hour to 45 minutes time to be playing through Dishonored 2. So do feel free to stick around in the chat if you want to see her play through that. But Luke, is there anything else that you would like to add to the news today?
What I'd like to add to the news today, well, all sorts of things, but they're all bullshit, unfortunately. So, we're all about sort of telling the truth here. I'd love to say, Metroid Prime Remaster coming, Command & Conquer 2 Remastered confirmed. Anyway, I'll just say no.
Okay, fantastic. But if you do see any video game news that you want to hear our thoughts on, you want to add your thoughts too, I've seen that Spike. Thank you very much for adding your scores to the Metacritic scores. I'll be sure to add them in. We'll find out when Animal Crossing comes out exactly what it is that scores are going to be partaking in that. In fact, while we're here, I'm just going to show you once again so you can take a screenshot of this. I will repost the link. For those of you that are new around here, we've been taking scores of games that will be coming out within the next 2 months. If you want to get involved, then do feel free to take a screen grab of this in about 2 seconds' time so that you can get involved. Quick, hopefully. Right, yeah, you've got about 10 seconds to grab a screenshot of that. Reply back to us on Twitter. I'll repost it. Follow us on Twitter if I can. Hopefully it's working again. Follow us on Twitter. You'll find out everything that's going live, or when we're going live, or when it is that we're doing. That seems like it's been enough time for you to be able to catch a screen grab of that. But until next time, guys, there's only one thing that I need you to do. And Luke, what is that?
Well, it's to primarily stay frosty.
See you tomorrow, guys.